This thing is essentially a cheat code for long range shooting. You press a button, it tells you exactly where to hold over, the when, the distance, the location, exactly where to hold over. Basically any information you're looking for when coming to long range, this one device does it all, along with one other thing that no other LRF does on the market, which makes it incredibly unique and a lot more powerful at the price point. That was a heck of an intro. Let's go ahead and answer the question that all of you are probably having, and how does it do that, and does it actually work? Which we're gonna test a little bit later in the video, where we go out to the range with an experienced long range shooter and somebody that's never really shot long range before and has never touched this gun before, and see if it actually does what it's supposed to, and essentially making this a one-shot cheat code at any distance that you wanna shoot at. So for those of you that might not know, this is a laser rangefinder, and this is the X4 LRF 2K from Maztech. Now they do have a 15K, which is just like a super power version of this one, but this is the civilian version and what most of us are probably going to use, including law enforcement. The other one's more geared towards military use, but what this is used for is it range finds the exact distance of what your target is. And you might be thinking like, wow, that is an expensive device just to tell me the distance when I can go to Vortex and press a button from a rangefinder that's $200 and it tells me the same thing. But what's cool about this is it has applied ballistics, it has motion sensors, and it has all your environmentals in this device. So essentially it tells you how high to hold based off of your gun, your caliber, all the specifications you have set up for this gun. You can put that information into this. It knows exactly the bullet weight, the drop of that gun, and it tells you the environmentals that you're in. So it tells you your barometric pressures, your wind speed, the direction you're aiming. It knows the motion and movement of the earth. So it can tell you exactly where that bullet's gonna go, so it can adjust for that, and you can account for that with your scope by the number it reads out when you press the button. You hold to that, you can take your shot, and in theory, you should always be able to get a one-shot hit in this. But before we test that, let's go over all the little details about this, what makes it unique, and all of its features that come with it, because at the price tag, it is a lot at $2,200. That's expensive, but the fact that this comes night vision compatible makes this really affordable for what it is, because a lot of night vision devices alone with the IR aiming device are around that $1,500 to $2,500 range, and those don't have your applied ballistics or your LRF. It's just a IR aiming device. Now this does not have an illuminator like some of those other devices, but you're able to at least aim at night if you want to, and then if you want to, you can add an illuminator to it if you want to use it that way. But it's a really cool device that is kind of a one-stop shop for everything that you could use. Now, just because I've been fluffing it a lot doesn't mean that it doesn't come with its downsides. One of those downsides is it is longer than some of the other ones on the market, and the reason being is it just has a lot more information packed into a device. Now it's not as tall or as chunky as them, it's just a little bit longer. Now not only is this the only one that is night vision compatible, but this is the only one that's actually made in the USA, which is a big selling point for a lot of people and does usually boast a little bit more expensive of a price tag. Now actually getting these things available is the next hard part. They're very hard to find in stock, but you can sign up for wait lists and their back order and be able to get one. But it's a really cool device to be able to tell you all the information that you want to know if you are going to be in law enforcement, if you are a competition shooter, or if you're someone that goes out to the range, you like to do hunting, and you want to know all the information at the push of a button. It basically just makes long range shooting extremely easy, and it really should be a must-have for anyone that takes long range more seriously. Now there are some people that just love doing the math and all the information themselves, and that's like the love of the game. That's what they enjoy. Now this might not be for those people, but for those of you that just want to be able to take all that guesswork out and make it as simple as possible, this is exactly what it does. Now, it does come with a wired controller as well. You're able to plug this into the back, and that way you don't have to use the buttons manually. You can have this attached wherever you want on your gun, on the side, the bottom, the rail, whatever you want to do. They are coming out with some more devices. Now, it is another con. Now, the wire on this comes straight out. Now, on this gun, it's not an issue because you can see it's not going to mess with my turret. But if this was lower or the turret was higher, you would have to do something about that because your turret would be in the way. And that is something that I think is a con. But they've heard us complain about it, and they realize it's a con, so they're going to be fixing that. They're coming out with a 90-degree cable that comes straight out, which will eliminate that, and they have a Bluetooth version coming soon as well. Now, a lot of you that are going to be using this for more of a duty use don't necessarily love the idea of Bluetooth. I don't either. I'd rather have the wire, so the 90-degree cable is going to be a good fix for me. I have an incredible opportunity for you to win something that I can confidently say all of us have always wanted our entire lives. And that is quad tube night vision. If you guys are interested in getting some quad tube night vision and winning them for yourself and supporting the channel, which is a little bonus, I appreciate it, check out fanathem.com/advisor. Pick up an item in exchange for a chance to win quad tube night vision. Huge shout out to Phantom for making this possible, and you guys, the viewers, for always being here, supporting the channel. There's links in the description, in the comments. You DM me, I'll send you a link. It is a cool opportunity. Do not miss out, and we have a lot more of these coming. This is basically as close as I'm getting. And you're able to keep 30 different gun profiles saved into this. And what I mean by that is your gun profile is a CZ600 range with a 1 in 10 twist as a 308 caliber with all of my bullet weights. I use 175 grain Federals, and I can put all that information into the device, and then it knows everything about this gun and the drop and everything that it's going to do. You can do 30 different guns with that all inside of this. Now, it does have an app that you can use if you want to. You don't have to because everything is internal. You have a screen here with your controls, and you can do it all there. It is a little bit more annoying and kind of harder to do on this. So if you want like ease, you can just do it with your phone. But what's nice is you don't have to have your phone. So if you don't have it with you or you lose it or you don't have signal, it's not going to make this thing completely obsolete. You can do all the stuff that you can do on the app right here. And before we go down to the range and see if Josh can do all one-shot hits with this thing with ever using it, I always want to go over the relationship with the brand. To be completely transparent with you, Maztech did send me this. I did not spend my own money on it. Now, the best thing you can do for the channel to help us grow, and it's completely free, that is subscribing. And I greatly appreciate the growth, especially because of what YouTube is doing, trying to demonetize, trying to hide all these gun tubers channels lately. And it is super helpful if you guys like, share, comment, all those things. Being interactive is incredibly helpful for the growth here, and I can't thank you guys enough for that. And then of course, if you want exclusive content, go to tanewsletter.com, link in the description. Two brands that are incredibly helpful for the things we do here are MagnaLens and Vertex Bag. MagnaLens makes these hearing protection and eye protection that magnetize together. And it's not just a cool trick, which it is, the fact that it allows you to have better hearing protection, because with regular sunglasses, you break the seal of your hearing protection, which causes sound to get in. Along with the fact that when you put these on and magnetize them, you don't have that crushing headache from your sunglasses pinned against your temple for a long period of time with these. It's a super big help. Code TA15 will save you on a pair of hearing protection and eye protection. And then Vertex Bag are the bags that I've been using for years. Each of the bags has a different way to be able to carry in, along which is a lot of useful stuff. Whenever I'm flying or traveling, I use their luggage, I use their carry-on bags, I use them to walk around the events. One of my favorite ways to carry when not wanting to do it on body. Code Tactical Advisor will save you on the backpacks and clothing at Vertex Bag. Let's get back into this video. So we went down to the range, we had 450 yards to play with, and the goal is just to park at different distances that weren't known to us. We would just drive, park where we felt it, we'd get out, we'd press the button and tell us our range, and tell exactly where to hold over, what the wind's doing. We'd make the shot and see what happens. I took the first shots and then I handed it over to Josh. He's never used this gun before, he's never shot it. He doesn't really do long range precision shooting ever, so it's a really good test to see how it can be used with somebody that's never really used these before, and is it user friendly? Is it something that somebody can go out and just press the button and figure it out on their own that doesn't really do it? And that's really the claim to fame to this. It's a one-stop shop. Everything's in one thing. It's as simple as it can make it, and that's what we're gonna test here out at the range. And we're just gonna go from different distances, only relying on this to tell us the distance, where to shoot, what to do. And it's really windy out today, so that will play an effect, especially when we go out further. We got about 450 yards that we can play with. And the goal is to be able to hit on our first shot without doing anything other than pressing range and then taking the shot with the data it gives us. All right, so we're gonna range 91 yards. So it says 2 down, so a little low. Hit. Ranging 154, so it says 0.24 up. All right. Hit. This is where it starts to get a little bit harder. We're going a little bit more distance. I love how quick it is to press that. So there's usually a cable that you press. I forgot the cable, so we're just doing it this way. 202. It says 0.56 up. Hit. 240, 0.84 up. Wind is 0.4 to the left, so it's starting to notice the difference in the wind. So I'm gonna adjust the wind here a little bit. I gotta go left. Okay. Hit. So you can see there is absolutely no wind block out here. So it makes, when you start getting up to this 300 yards, a lot more difficult because that wind starts to play a bigger role into it. 287, 1.23 up, 0.6 left. Hit. Oh. So there's weeds in the way, the laser rangefinder can't go through the weeds. So we've got some, if you want to show there, we got a little bit of brush in the way there. Rangefinder cannot go through that. So the target is right behind. I can see the target, but the rangefinder's getting hit on those. So it's telling me 61 yards, which I know it's not. Let's see if I can't move over to the left to get around those. Not the most comfortable shooting position. All right, 342, 1.65 up. Hit. Now let me range find this real quick. What is it? 440. All right, we're at 440, but the problem is the target I brought is too low. I didn't bring the tall ones, I forgot about it. And there's a little bit of a hill. So I'm gonna have to stand for this shot. We're gonna try it, we'll see what happens. So 440, 262 up, 2.62, 0.10 left. So you suck. Ready? Got it. I'm giving Josh a quick crash course on how to use this. Oh, it just got real. That screen says 309, but you can't see it with the camera. Good shot. 266, 1.7 up. 1.07, sorry.
That's a big difference.
Good hit. That dash above 1. Nice shot. Honestly, I think that was the best test that we could do because it just proved that anybody can pick this thing up, press the button, it tells them exactly what to do. You don't have to be an experienced long-range shooter. Now, obviously, we only went out to 440 yards. We could have went further. The further you go back, the more difficult it's gonna be. But I think with somebody that's never really done long-range shooting before or has an experience with it, being able to shoot out to those distances is pretty impressive for the first time using this gun and not really having an experience on bullet drops and how everything works, just going off of what this is telling them. Now, when it came to sighting this in, it was a little bit more annoying than I expected. So you have a visible laser, and I went out in a really bright part of the day, and I had a really hard time trying to find the laser, actually to the point I couldn't even find it. So I wasn't able to sight it in, which obviously was incredibly frustrating because I went out there to sight it in and do some shooting, and I was excited to start trying it out, but had to go back later in the day when it was darker, more in the evening, and then it was so bright because it gives you a reflective target to use, and it was reflecting so much that it was almost just had giant blur on the target, so it was really difficult to see exactly where I wanted it. I ended up making it work, but it was a little finickier than I expected. I was hoping to see it better during the daylight, and I was hoping it wasn't as bright during the dusk. So it might take a little bit of finding the right time of day to be able to sight it in. But once I sighted it in, it was super easy. It was like lining up a laser. A couple clicks left, a couple clicks up, and it was good to go. Now, a couple other little features that I want to touch on before we end the video is this is a 7075 T6 aluminum housing, and you have a CR123 battery, and this comes with a rechargeable one. Now, it mentions in the manual that it's not meant for actual use. It's meant for training. It's meant to go out and aim it and get it ready, sight it in. You can charge it up real quick. But if you want better, longer lasting battery life to actually use CR123s, this one is just for training use. Now, I will say, I used it out at the range with me and Josh because I wanted to see how long it would last. It lasted the whole time we were out there. We were out there for about an hour and 45 minutes. Didn't have a problem with it. Now the battery was going down, and it's not something I would take with me full time if I was doing like an event or doing some kind of Overwatch. I would make sure I have extra batteries, and I would use the actual 123 that it requires you to use. But it is nice that it has a rechargeable one for those of you that just want to go out real quick. Maybe start with that one, and then if it goes down, you can go with the other, but at least you're using a rechargeable so you're not wasting batteries. Another cool little feature, might not ever be used, but it's the little details that I think are important sometimes. It has a little backup iron sight on the top here. So you're able to use that if needed. If you had to make a quick shot, you can line those up. Now, me personally, am I going to take the time to line these tiny little sights that I've never used before? Probably not. If it's that close, I'm probably just gonna do a point aim shoot and hope the 308 does its job. And if you've seen some of Maztech's other products, you can tell that they put a lot of thought and detail into these things and making basically shooting incredibly easy and eliminating all the guesswork. But what's cool about these is they do not batch test these. These are individually tested, they're mil-spec rated, and they take out each one and test them individually. So they aren't just doing one and saying, yep, they're all good. That way the one you are getting has been individually tested to make sure it is working, and they take the fact that it's US made very seriously, which I think that's always important. And I always love to see a brand that's taking that on. Now, obviously you always boast a little bit higher of a price, and it's not cheap. These are expensive, but unfortunately long range and anything gun related nowadays is ridiculously expensive. I can't really say anything that's affordable anymore, especially with the market and the economy that we're in right now. And sometimes I feel bad because I'll do reviews on these and I'm like, yeah, this is actually pretty affordable and it's still $1,000. And it's like, yeah, but I'm comparing it to all the other stuff that's like $2,000, $3,000. So in comparison, yeah, it's affordable, but is anything really affordable when you're spending $1,000, $2,000? Like, not really, especially nowadays when people just can't afford half this stuff. So I apologize in the sense that I might use the terminology a little weird, but it is affordable for everything that is packed into it, comparing it to the other things on the market that are very similar in the fact that it's US made. But is it cheap? Not even slightly. It's a ton of money. And when you jump into something like this, you want to make sure you know all the information. That's my goal in these videos, is be able to help you make that decision confidently. This is exactly what I want. I want to spend all that hard-earned money into something like this because it's exactly what I want, or I'm going to save it. I'm going to spend it on something else because it's not quite exactly what I'm looking for. So as always, I hope it was helpful to you. If you guys are looking about the channel, as always, subscribing. It's completely free. Very, very helpful. Checking us out on all the other platforms that we have, the website, and if you want that exclusive content, tanewsletter.com. Howitzer Clothing, they donate 5% of proceeds to charity. Code TA15 saves you 15% off, completely limitless on your clothing order. Share it with all your friends and get a Tactical Advisor shirt. I've looked at my videos on a Bible verse, and we're in Luke 17, 20, where the Pharisees are asking about the kingdom of God and when it is coming. And he answers, the kingdom of God is not coming in ways that can be observed, nor will they say, look, here it is, or there. For behold, the kingdom of God is in the midst of you. And it's so important that we understand that we don't know when it is going to come, and we need to be prepared. It's not that, well, let me go ahead and enjoy my life now in my 20s or my teens, or when I'm in 30, and maybe when I'm 40 or 50, I'll start to really settle down and understand God and build that relationship. I know it sounds silly, but you could die today. You could die tomorrow. You could die in the next hour. We don't know when that time comes. But it's so important to build this relationship that we get to grow. And not only just to build it so I can go to heaven, but it has been so enjoyable to get closer to him. He's completely transformed my life and filled my heart with so much joy and completeness in my life that I have a completely new view of how life is. And every day I grow in it, I learn, and I get closer. Is so much better. So you're not just trying to, well, let me get my ticket into heaven. You get to learn this relationship and learn about him more. And it's something that I pray about a lot, is hoping that I have many more years to live, that I get to build this relationship and learn even more. We need to understand that we have sinned, and there's nothing we can do other than by the grace of God that he chose us, and he sent his son to die on the cross for us. And from there, we just need to repent, which means turn away from those sins and then allow him to transform your life. It's the best thing I ever did. If I could help you, I would love to. I appreciate you all.